on. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to start the session. Thank you guys for joining me. I know some of you have to leave early, but that's okay. Today we're going to really look at, I don't know when the last time you got a report card was, but we're going to make your own report card today. And there are no right or wrong answers. But Marta, I know we were talking this morning about seeing things and some clarity coming. This tool is so powerful, and you've probably done it before. I call it the pie of life. Have you guys done it before?
No.
It's called like the wheel of life.
Okay.
I kind of put my own spin to it, and really, I do this maybe once every quarter because it always changes. And I'm going to share my screen with you guys. If you have a piece of paper and pen, great. If you don't, no worries. You can take a mental check on what's going on, and we'll have a great discussion. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here. There we go. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. So we're going to jump right in, and we're going to start off with what I call career and wisdom. Okay. So for each of these facets, there are 8 facets to life. We are going to score them from 0 to 10. 10 being you are fully complete, fully fulfilled. There's nothing else left for you to work on in that particular facet. And 0 being I need to do so much work on this, like I barely even scratched the surface. Okay?
I'm just gonna move over to my office, so just you continue. I just don't want you to think that I'm not paying attention.
No worries, no worries. Thank you for that. So for those who are watching this after it is being recorded, you can do this at home too, but I'm going to do it now with Jen, Daniel, and Marta, and hopefully we'll get to an awesome discussion. So we're going to start with career and wisdom, okay? Career and wisdom, if I look at it here, 0 is I earn very little and barely scrape by. I know very little about anything and don't have any skills that bring value to the organization that I work with or work for. Right? 10 would be I earn money in abundance. I feel completely fulfilled with what I'm currently doing and have a burning desire to learn everything this world has to offer. So you guys don't need to share your answers with me by any means, but I would urge you just to score it for yourself 1 out of 10 or 0 out of 10. And see where you're at. You guys got your scores?
Yep.
Cool. Daniel? Wonderful. All right. Next one is family. Now, family is defined by your immediate family. So this is your brothers, your sisters, your kids, your husbands, your wives. That's your family. No one outside. No cousins, no extended family, nothing like that. So a 0 would be my immediate family sucks. I wish I was never born. I wish I had better parents or siblings, and they don't understand me, and we never get along.
What about the ones you disowned?
Oh, well, yeah, they would also be part of this too, right?
Okay.
I don't need their love and connection, and basically I'm better off without them. That's a 0, okay? A 10 would be I love my family. I couldn't ask for a better one. I'm on a perfect terms with my family, my parents, my siblings, and kids. And the level of care, comfort, and support I offer them is endless. I feel significant amongst them. And I'm at where I'm supposed to be with my family.
Can I add a question though?
Sure, yeah.
Because sometimes your brothers and sisters and your father and your mother family is different from, say, your kids. So then the average would be pulled down quite significantly between those 2 dynamics.
Yep. Very good point. And so
are you scoring each one, or are you scoring the average?
The average.
Okay.
We're going to talk about how to approach it as a holistic kind of way
Okay.
once you give the averages. Yeah, but great question. Thank you.
Alex, I'm just making my chart. How many levels on each 1 to 10, right?
Yeah, 0 to 10. And you don't need to
And
make
then
the chart. What you can do
I
is just
want to make
report.
the chart
Okay, yeah,
though.
sure. Go for it.
And there's 6
There you
chunks,
go.
right? Yeah.
Can you
Got
see
it.
this?
Yes.
I'll give you a
Uh-huh.
second here.
That's fine. I'm caught up.
Okay.
I'm all good.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next one is relationships. This means with the general population, so your workmates, cousins included, friends, old friends, new friends, whatever.
Wait, does boyfriend fall under family or under relationships?
Relationships, because he's not your direct family yet. Well, yeah. So relationships is everyone else is useless except me. I don't need friends or a social life. I am the maker of my own happiness and don't need anyone else in my life.
Maybe during the pandemic.
Well, like I said, this whole chart or this whole atypical report card is going to change with time. So that's why it's always good to do this once every while. But for now, be true to yourself and score what you think is right. Okay. And finally, if you're a 10 with your relationships, I love all human beings and have a genuine urge to help others all the time. Socializing comes easy to me, and I can make friends extremely easily. I feel significant among others.
Well, it's a 10 for me.
Oh, nice. How we doing, Daniel?
Doing good. These questions are tough, so I'm just weighing the pros and cons.
That's okay. So the best answer you can give at this moment, give yourself a couple seconds to think.
I'm giving myself a rating and I'm making notes beside it as to why.
Wonderful. Awesome. I'll give you guys a couple seconds here. Okay, so the next one is health and fitness. Now, I know this might be a little tough with the pandemic going on, but we'll see how we can do. Nope, working out is not for me. I hate all types of physical activity. I'd rather sit in front of a screen to play video games, browse the internet, watch movies. Healthy eating is meaningless. I'll die one day, so why not even, why try? Why bother?
Yes, that's me. That's kidding.
And finally, I rely on others to take care of me. Okay, that's a 0. And hopefully it falls within the range of, well, a 10 being, I am an adventurous person that loves to challenge myself physically and mentally through activities and healthy eating. I love myself enough to take care of my body and feed with the best nutrients I possibly can. By loving myself, I know I can love others better.
It's a total perspective thing.
Oh yeah, totally. And that's why we want your average, right?
It's like I feed myself ice cream because I love myself and I respect my body.
That's one way of doing it.
That makes it a right there.
Awesome. Okay. Can I move on to the next?
Yeah.
Great. Personal development. So this facet for a 0 would be, I don't read at all because it's a waste of time. Seminars, workshops are for losers. And the value they offer don't justify the expenses or the expensive price tags. I know all I need to know at this moment and have nothing to learn from anyone else. That's a 0. Yeah.
Okay.
A 10 would be, I read with endless curiosity. I am constantly craving to learn from others and their experiences and know the value of investing in experiences and self-betterment. The more I learn, the more I realize the little I know. Growth is important to me.
I have a question.
Yep.
I assume we're rating ourselves not on our beliefs on this, but on how we actually perform on this right now.
Very good question. And the answer is you rate it as you feel is right to you. You can incorporate both. You will take reality and you will take what you wish to do and make an average of it all.
Okay.
All right, 3 more to go. Leisure and fun. I don't need a vacation ever. Work is my life and has always been top priority for me. Socializing is a waste of time and traveling the world brings no benefit. I am in a comfortable place where I am and would rather spend my money on materialistic items. This is a 0. Now, everybody has their own definition of leisure and fun, so this is just a general kind of idea. Obviously, you know what's fun for you and what's leisure, but the things that I'm reading out here are going to give you a general sense of how to gauge, right? And then for 10, I always look forward to planning the next trip or exploring what this world has to offer. I take the initiative to coordinate and follow through with my commitments and strive to be congruent. I have plenty of variety in my life to last a lifetime.
Are you doing this along with us?
I am not.
Well, that's
I-
you should be doing too.
It's a bit tough to do it. I honestly, I know my scores.
Okay. Okay.
But,
fair enough.
yeah.
That's fine.
So second to last is significant contribution. 0 would be forget charity. I can barely support my own lifestyle. It should be everyone for themselves. And I work hard for my money and possessions. Why give it any of it away?
Yeah.
And then a 10 would be the humanitarian in me utterly enjoys contributing to charity and other noble causes. I've noticed that there is a lot of unnecessary suffering in this world and know that even a small contribution can make a big difference.
That's a 10.
That's a 10. Now, again, you have your own ways of contributing, so no judgment or anything like that. It's just you gauge what your average is between those two extremes.
Yes.
Or are you going back in?
No.
You're now.
We'll give Marta a second here.
Yeah, I guess I can do it. I want to get some gas in the tank of the CT, but I don't want to dry out in there.
Daniel, how we doing?
Doing great, man. It's yeah. I don't know if we're discussing some of these, but I mean, if we do, I'm ready to. But it's up to
Awesome.
you guys. Yeah, no, these are good, man. These are. I feel like they could be very specific or very broad, to depending on the person. Which is
Exactly. And that's the point. I mean, everybody's report card is going to be different, and the way you score is going to be different. It's completely subjective to you. So
No, we need to get to the root of everything.
Oh yeah.
The root.
I am
finally,
root.
yeah. And finally, is spirituality. What the hell do I need this for? Is 0. I don't believe in greater power and think that all pain and suffering in my life is caused by external factors like other people, stupid bosses, inconsiderate family members, exes, whatever. Self-awareness is only for idiots. And I don't need any of that in my life.
Wait, but are you saying spirituality as in like your self-spirituality, or spirituality as in like religion?
So a lot of people have this religious connotation associated with spirituality. To me, and you might have a different definition, but for this purpose of this activity, spirituality is much more a mindset and the way of you showing up in life. It can have religious connotations, so you can be Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, whatever.
Okay.
But in general, spirituality is a way of being and basically operating from a place of good and wanting, or you believe in a God, or you believe in good. Either way, it just aligns with who you are.
Okay. I was gonna say, if it was like self-spirituality, then I wouldn't score myself as low. But if it was like, how good of a Catholic have I been, I'd be like, not very.
So then you can be completely honest and you can take the average of all that. And if you want to be Catholic, go ahead. If it doesn't matter to you at this moment or ever, then don't worry about it.
Okay.
Right? This is all stuff that's important to you.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So
finally,
could we say more like self-reflection then?
yeah.
Okay.
And finally, a 10 would be, I'm fully accountable for all that has happened and going on in my life. I understand that when I don't get what I want, it is because I am not deserving of it yet, but I will be eventually. I am in full control of my own happiness and have complete emotional control, which stems from self-awareness and humility. Cool. Does everybody have their scores? Nice.
Yes.
Wonderful. So I would love to open the floor to discussion and say, how was that for you? I'll start off with Daniel. How you doing, Daniel?
Right. Yes. Yeah. I'm muted myself. It was interesting. I don't know what I feel like all these are appropriate scores for myself.
Good.
So I don't know what you wanted to start discussing. Like, what is it that you want to?
So I would love to know, how did you find the exercise and what did you learn?
Well, the thing is, I had to gauge it, right? If you're asking the guy that was 2 years ago, these scores would have been drastically different.
Great.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like I thought relationships and families were kind of the same thing, because that's kind of how I hold those things, right? But no, I rated them differently. Relationships is definitely lower because it's not where I wanted it to be right now. And the way I've handled things is not the greatest. Fitness, I also rated lower because I have not been doing what I should be or usually do. So it's different. But I feel like everything else, career and wisdom is a 6. It wasn't like huge because it's still not where I want to be. I mean, I make all right money, but not nearly enough for doing anything outside of anything. Leisure and fun, I don't really have a lot of leisure and fun. I have fun doing what I'm doing, but it's not like 90% of the time, right? So that was low. Significant contribution, I agree with what Jen said, that, or what one of you said, that it's to however you want to say it. Like, I do a lot for the new Westminster community, and it's not always in the way of giving money. It's more in the way of volunteering or giving them my time or projects, things like that. We've done a lot for New West. And spirituality, this is where I say that if you would have asked me 2 years ago to do this, it would have been totally different. I have always been on the side of, if you needed to believe in something, that you needed a crutch. You needed something to blame because you couldn't man up on the decisions that you have made. You couldn't just live with that consequence or live with that decision, and you had to be like, oh, it was God. He wanted me to. Anyways, I'm not going to go into it, but you get the idea. But now it's like, I may not believe in a God, a general God, but I do believe that there's a yin and a yang, right? Karma, universe, spirit, auras, and stuff like that, where you put out what you get, you know, or get what you put out, right? And so I feel like that in that aspect, I do. I still feel like it's like when I look at things, it's not so much the people around me that have the interpretation of what God is. I've met a lot of spiritual people over the last year that have interesting concepts of what God is, and it's all been really cool. And if you look at it from that way, you know, to just generally be a good person, because that's basically what that is, right? But some people blow it out of proportion. Usually it's the person preaching it or something that has different meanings, and that's the issue. But anyways, so that's what I meant. I didn't mean to go on a ramble there. That's, yeah, those are my scores. Not too far off. I don't know. I'm looking forward to hear what everybody else has.
Wonderful. And before I move on to the next person, out of the 8, which are the top 2 that is most important to you at this moment?
Significant contribution.
Okay.
And personal development.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Jen,
Hi.
are you ready?
Yeah.
So I would like to know how you found this exercise and what'd you learn?
I thought it was pretty easy to grade myself because I know I've been doing a lot of work just over the last few years, and I know, I'll tell you my experience. It's the feeling of being okay with where I am at, no matter how I grade myself on the report card. And that's a different feeling of who I am today than who I was 5 years ago. Like if I grade myself low, I'd be like, I'm okay with that. And if I grade myself high, I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. I'm pretty proud. And there's more that I could still learn. Like even though I grade myself high, there's still more room for more. I feel like I've made a lot of improvements in all the areas, maybe with the exception of fitness. Fitness and leisure, just because there's a crux there with the COVID thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do love going rock climbing, and I do love like it's just, yeah, that's my leisure, and it's not really available to me right now, but I do have other avenues of leisure. I spent like 3 hours fixing my bike yesterday, and I actually wrecked it more than I fixed it. I took the shifter apart. I was like so smart. I'm like, oh, it's not the cable, it's the shifter. So I'll just take the shifter apart. And then the thing just sprung open and everything just went flying out of it. I'm like, oh shit. Like, I don't know how to put this. And then I had to like go on YouTube, and I was trying to figure out, like trying to see how they put it back together. And then I finally gave up and walked it over to West Point Cycles and asked if they could fix it. Lined up for that. So that was that was my attempt at leisure.
Let's put it this way. Did you have fun?
Until it sprung open, it was fun, and then it was stressful.
Okay. So
but I'm still laughing about it because I'm like, I tried to save myself. I took it over there, and they're like, oh yeah, well it'll just cost you $20. I'm like, oh my god, that would have only costed me $20, and I tried to fix it for $20. Like, that would have saved me an afternoon of stress. But it was nice to get myself all greased up and covered in bike grease, and
yeah,
it was something I hadn't done in a long time, which was tune up my bike.
yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, yes, it was fun and it was stressful. So, but at the same time, like in the end, it's going to take me another 2 weeks to get my bike back now. So that will be, but yeah, I do have plans for leisure. I do have plans for fitness. So it's just my own stupidity that I made something worse.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, and then with spirituality, I kind of struggled with that one because I was confusing spirituality with religion. I realized that they're completely different things. If I was to grade myself in religion, I'd be like, 0. But spirituality, I think I've really been actively working hard on being accountable for my choices, really speaking up for my needs, processing my emotions. There's like a lot of things that happened this week. Like this was my friend's birthday on Friday, and he committed suicide 2 years ago. And it was like a really tough thing to like get through, especially like in this pandemic type thing where everyone is just, and you try to like make excuses why you shouldn't feel sad and why you should be like moving on with your life. But then it's just that having that spirituality to acknowledge that this is a loss in your life and that you're allowed to grieve a loss of a loved one, and that, you know, it's just that forgiveness and that being okay with where you're at, like no matter where you're at, to be okay with it, no matter how you judge yourself, where you place yourself on the scale, that it's okay to be there because that's just where you are and that's where you're meant to be.
That's awesome. And I want to really highlight, and I thank you for bringing that up, is the whole point of this exercise is not to reach a 10. I mean, some people can be satisfied with reaching a 5, a 2, 8, and that's okay, yeah. Right?
Well, and that's the same thing, like with my family. I asked you, I said, what about the people that you disown? Like, if I would say, I judge myself a pretty good score, like maybe a 7 or 8 high score right now, because since my mom has come back from the hospital, our relationship has really improved. And at the same time, I decided to cut my dad off. And that has been very releasing for me. Like, it's been a sense of freedom and acceptance that my dad will never be the dad that I need him to be. And like that our relationship is just better for me to not have any expectations of him. And so that means I only communicate with him when he calls me. Like, I don't need him in my life. I don't need him because like he was just doing stuff that was making me feel used and like to use me to make him look good. And it's just, that's not the kind of relationship I want in my life. And so I said no. And I said no to that. And I feel like, to me, that's a 10. But if cutting out someone out of your life equals a 0, then I would be a 5. And I'm okay with that because that's the way I think about it. It's like, in the end, what did I do that's right for me? Right. So, and it works for me. It works for the rest of my family. And the same thing with my kids. Like, I give a lot of attention to my kids, and that puts me up, I feel, at a 10. Right. But because I cut my dad out, it's like, it's an average. And I'm like, I'm okay with not scoring a 10 because I know why things are the way they are. And I've done, and if for spirituality, I say 10 because I did that. And that's how my family scores as a 5, because I score 10 on spirituality because I do what's right for me and I do what's right for everyone. And I'm okay with that.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Before I move on to Marta, the top 2 that are most important to you at this moment?
I would say spirituality and family.
Nice.
Family relationships, because I don't know, my boyfriend's teetering across relationship and family, so it's kind of hard to say.
Wonderful. Okay, yeah. Thank you. And finally, but last but not least, Marta?
I have done this exercise many times, and I just wanted to highlight how different it was for me. I mean, it's such a no-brainer that it is different every time. And I mean, it's such a great thing to have as an underlying sort of thing, just to audit myself where I'm at. So I'll tell you guys what I found out today is that I am doing amazing.
Yes.
I am doing amazing. I normally have 10s in health and fitness, and then leisure and fun. Those are the things I normally really, and I always have really high spirituality and personal development. Those are things I like. Those are really great pieces for me that are easy for me to work on, and I have a drive to do it. But what's interesting is that leisure and fun and health and fitness usually are like super high on my list, and I make sure I am really great at them, which in turn my career and my relationship suffers because it's just a time that I, a lot like, oh, it's so easy for me to go and have fun rock climbing, go on a trip and concentrate on that. But it takes away from some other pieces for me. So what I've been learning in COVID, and this has been just such a blessing, is that I've been pouring so much energy into my career and into my relationship, and so just sort of learning new qualities in there. And what that's done for me is it sort of recalibrated what I feel is possible in that. Like, I never thought that I would put 7 days a week, 10 hours a day into my career, because I would be like, no, I need to go climbing and I need to go and do this other stuff. And now I am. So it's teaching me sort of what's possible. So my graph kind of shifted from like being that way to being that way from normal. And it's really great to see that that the areas that normally feel to me like, oh, I'm dragging or I'm not doing the greatest in, I am actually doing really good in, because I know that I can go back to leisure and fun and health whenever I want. I already know how to do that. So basically, Alex, you helped me understand that I actually have a way better balance of things, and I'm able to go into a better balance whenever I want to. And I think this exercise really helps us see where we are, or what, and I was just thinking about that because I wasn't doing as much exercise as I normally do, and I was like, oh, I'm at 7. That's okay. I'm good right now at 7. Like, yeah, maybe I can eat better a little bit here and there, but I'm okay for the next couple months to be at 7.
Nice.
So thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I love how you were able to notice that you can shift it and make it feel aligned with you. And really to highlight the point where whatever you have today should feel right for you. And if there's something that is screaming at you and saying, I should really get on this and work on it, this is what the whole point of this exercise is, right? And so I'm happy you're able to see that. And so the top 2 most important for you at this moment, what are they?
Career and relationship.
Nice.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So another thing that I want to highlight is if you don't have a 10, if you look at your scores and you don't have a 10, you're missing a piece. And typically when you're missing that piece, somewhere inside you, you kind of know what it is already. It's just a matter of getting there, right? And so what I would urge you to do is after this call, I know we're nearing the end here, and Jen, you got to go pick up your kids and whatnot, so I don't want to take your time. Take a moment to look at those top 2. So Daniel, it was significant contribution and professional development, right? Jen, you had spirituality and family. And Marta, yours was career and relationships. Look at those 2 in specific. And the reason why I asked why those are, what are the most important to you today, is look at what's missing and what action can you take to get higher, a 10, if that's what you want. Mm-hmm. So your immediate action. What can you do after you get off this call and say, yep, I'm going to set myself out to do it, and it's going to make me feel great. If it doesn't make you feel great, you're probably not going to do it. So don't worry about that. You guys got it?
Yes.
Sounds good. Sounds good indeed.
Now, one last aspect I would love to incorporate. Have you guys heard of SMART goals?
Yes.
Okay. Marta?
No.
Okay. So any goal you set, you're setting yourself up for success when you put the parameters of SMART goal around them. SMART?
Oh, I know. Yeah. But continue. Yeah.
So SMART meaning specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Okay. So specific, when you guys are setting out your action, you're not going to say, you know, I'm going to eat something better that's going to make me feel good. Specific is, I'm going to go get some avocado because they're awesome antioxidants and they're going to make my skin glow and blah, blah, blah. That's how specific you want to get, okay? Measurable is, again, going back to the food, and you can do this for yourself, is I'm going to eat 2 avocados a day or 1 avocado a day, whatever it is that makes me feel better or is good for me, right? If it's time, something that you're going to devote time, say how much time you're going to devote to it. 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, okay? Attainable, this is something that you need to be, you know, it ties in with realistic. So attainable and realistic is, attainable is you can actually do it. You know, nothing like, I'm going to climb Everest tomorrow because I want to, and that's so attainable. Like it's completely not, and it's not realistic. Like you need to train, or you need to find some help and to prepare yourself mentally, physically, and whatnot, right? So make sure it's actually attainable, and make sure it's an actual realistic goal for yourself as well. And then finally, timely. When you put something in your calendars and say, when I'm going to get this done by, that's usually a good prompter or a driver to say, I'm going to get this done. So if you're going to work on relationship and say, I'm going to forgive myself someday. Someday may not come, and that's not timely. You can say, by this date, I don't know, April 1st, 2021, I will forgive myself fully and do everything I need to get there. And everything else in that SMART goal parameter will tie into that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, it does.
So I know we only have 10 minutes left here. Do you guys have anything else that you want to share, or anything that's not clear?
No, I think I'm good.
Cool.
Are we presenting next week?
No. You're more than welcome to share your results and present, if you feel comfortable, but by no means do you have to or feel obliged.
Will any of this be on a quiz?
Is there a final exam?
Yeah.
Welcome to the School of Alex. Yeah. No, these are totally completely for you. And to be honest, next week, this might completely change. But the truth is, now you guys have the tools to look at your life and get a bird's eye view and really see what matters to you, right? And you work on the stuff that'll make you feel basically happier, bring you either closer to God or closer to good, whatever it is that you want to get closer to. Maybe it's going to make you happier. Maybe it's going to make you a better person. Whatever it is that matters to you is what you should be working on.
I have a question, and it's a slightly theoretical, but I'm wondering, just wanting to pick your brain on this. I have done this exercise before, and at different times, and I've definitely scored like 1 or 2 at things, and it really would bring me down and completely disengage me. Like, I'm a fuck up. I can't, how can I even take action? I'm so below, like my marriage is falling apart. Like, you know, what are your tips for the actions that will possibly get us out of that?
Sure. So first of all, scoring low doesn't mean it's a bad score. I would look at it as an opportunity for you to grow and actually learn from, right? Just because you have a 2 doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that you haven't done something yet. And
Can I add to that?
Yep.
I was going to say, for the example of scoring low, it could also be that the circumstance of why you scored low is because of the parameters. Like for the family one, I had to include someone that I cut out of my life. But I'm okay with that. Right? So that's why I scored low, was because
I don't know. I mean, maybe that's scoring high because you found your truth in that, and that means that you're finally having the right boundaries with your family. I don't know if it's a low score.
So, but then it could, the reverse could be back for your marriage as well too. Like perhaps there's something that you need to look at for yourself that you need, that you're not expressing your needs. So that's why the relationship is feeling one-sided and you're not happy with the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So perhaps there's something in you that you need to speak up so that you can get what you need so that you will be happy with the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I would add that it depends on the level of importance it is to you at this moment, that the time that you take this kind of assessment. If it's not important to you, don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it alone, and you don't need to feel rushed to do any of it if it's not
Mm-hmm.
important to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously we all need to eat, make money, make ends meet to live and stuff, and those can be important. But it sounds like you're working on your career and you're working towards a goal. But if you have like a back burner facet that you want to work on, leave it there and know that it's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help?
Since it's hypothetical, I don't have the emotional attachment to right this moment, you know.
Yep.
But I know that when we feel super low in certain places, it's really hard to get out, and the action is really hard too. Like, what's the point of acting? I'm at 1, like I'll never be at 10, and it's a great way not to act, right?
Okay.
Because so yeah.
Then I would say in that case, know that it's a continual journey, and that to go from 1 to 10 is way too high of a jump.
Mm-hmm.
You can go from 1 to 1.1.
Yes. I like that a lot. Yeah. How do we bring it to 2? Like, let's just. That's
Exactly.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
focus on what you can do at this moment. And I think once you find your stride, you know, you'll be able to get that momentum and then go to 10 eventually if that's what you want. But there's,
I thought it's like climbing a 10A and then a 10B and a 10C and 10D before you hit the 11As.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good teeny step, basically.
You're still in 10s. You're still climbing 10s. But a 10A is a very different than a 10D. And it's a very close to 11A.
Right. That's good. I like it.
Awesome. So I'm gonna let you guys go if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off.
Yeah, of course.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
See you, Jen.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
And have a great day, guys. Hopefully see you next week.
Yes.
All
Thank
right.
you, Alex.
Of course.
See you tomorrow. See you soon. See you tonight.
Yes, that's right. See you soon. All right. Take care, guys.
See you, man.